Hello, my dear apprentices of mathematics. Welcome back to my math channel. This is your coach, Mr. Magno. Okay, now we are now on module 5, lesson 10. Lesson 10. Now we're going to find the area, and the area is going to be found by multiplying a whole number times a mixed number. So we have the length and the width, and we're going to call these units. There's going to be units. So now, but first thing we're going to do, we're going to do a visual. Step one is going to be a visual. That means a model, a fraction model. Fraction model. Oh, you know what? It's going to be a multiplication model. Let's just call it right now fraction and multiplication model. So we have the area. We know the area equals length times width. And we're going to substitute the area. It's going to be length is 2.1 units. And width is going to be 3 units. So now with that, we're going to create a visual. So the visual is going to be, I was going to say step number 2, but let's wait for that one. The visual is going to be this one. So we're going to create a rectangle. And our first number is going to be 2.1. So we're going to create 1, 2, and the bottom is going to be 1/2. So this right here is going to be 2. And this right here is going to be 1/2. The columns are going to be the 3 units times 3 units. So we're going to show 3 units. There you go. So now if we count, let's label these 3 units. Okay. So 3 units times 2 units equals 6, right? But let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we have to multiply. We multiply this whole number times that whole number. And now we have to multiply the fraction times the whole number. So that's going to be 1 times, okay, this will be 1/2, right? So that's going to be also 1/2 and 1/2, right? So when we do the math, this is going to be 2 times 3 equals 6, which is the same numbers that we have inside. And what is half plus half plus half? That will be 1 and 1/2. So our multiplication should be 7 and 1/2. Okay. Now make sure we're doing the algorithm. So this is going to be step number 2. Algorithm. Let's do that. So it's going to be, again, area equals 2.1 times 3. So that means that 2 is going to multiply the 3, which is going to be 2 times 3. And the 1/2 is multiplying that 3, which is going to be 1/2 times 3. As you can see on our problem up here with the visual. So the visual right here, so this is 1 times 3, and this is 2 times 3. So now we can solve and create a area equals, the first multiplication is going to be 2 times 3 plus, which is this right here, plus 1/2 times 3. And if you set it up this way, I can assure you that success will follow you anywhere you go. So area equals 2 times 3 equals 6 plus 1/2 times 3. And remember, 1/2 times 3 is 1/2 times 3 over 1, which is going to equal 6 plus 1 times 3 equals 3, and 2 times 1 equals 2. And if we simplify this one, this is going to be 1/2, because 3 over 2 is a division. So I'm going to do this. 3 divided by 2. The 2 goes into the 3 one time. 1 times 2 equals 2. The remainder is 1. So now we know we have 1 and 1/2 as the answer. So the area is going to be 6 plus 1 and 1/2 should equal 7 and 1/2. Now remember, we're working with units, so it's going to be square units. And why is that? It is that way because we're working with two dimensions and each of them is unit and unit. So those become square units. My friends, watch the video. This is a marvelous lesson. You know it is. Please pay attention and do well in math. You have what it takes. Just focus in class. Yes, that is the key.